Okay, here we go. So, good morning, everybody. I love to be introduced by sports, actually. You will find out later why. And now we will continue the journey from an employee more into your own business journey. And to get a little overview where you are standing right now, I would like to ask a question. Who identifies mainly as an employee at this current moment? Could you raise your hand so I get an overview? Okay, not so many. That's nice, okay. And who mainly aligns with the term to be a freelancer? Who is a freelancer in the room? Cool, okay, more people I see. And what about business owners? Who's a business owner? Yep. Okay, a lot of hands in the air. So all these terms we are looking into right now. And actually, I would like to start with a little story. 8 years ago, I've been working remotely as a working student from Malaysia. I did an exchange semester in KL. And as a typical German, I had everything figured out beforehand. So I had this flat rented, I had these courses listed in, and I had a flight back to Germany for sure. Definitely at the end of the semester. Then I met my now husband there, Alvaro, who is Mexican. He's the opposite. So he just arrived in Malaysia, stayed in a hostel, not even knew where the university is, and he proposed to me, how would it be to just skip that flight to go back to Germany? That was a crazy idea for me. But I did that. We traveled 5 months in Southeast Asia. That was the first time in Chiang Mai. And yeah, that was for me the big aha moment, the big wow moment to see it's actually possible to be during wintertime abroad from Germany, and to live this flexible location-independent lifestyle. The big question was, how can I realize that, right? So, looking into the current situation, I'm here now working 4 years with my own business, location independent, calling it Nomad, whatever you feel like. And today I would like to share about this journey from the last 8 years I had with several business models, so you can check in for your own journey what fits, what is aligned with your big vision to build your freedom. So let's start. The journey is about you as a foundation. We will talk about several business models, so 5 in total I'm going to share with you. A one-on-one in business modeling if you haven't had so many experience with it yet, and then some key learnings from the last 8 years. Feel free to ask questions in the end. I try to make it like 20 minutes so we can head into these ones. Here's a little introduction. You see a picture in Malaysia. That was my old me 8 years ago in KL studying. And when I went back to Germany, I had this rocket start to buy a family business. So that is a tennis court construction company. I'm the 3rd generation. My grandfather started it. And for me, that was like, okay, I want an independent life. Being a business owner is definitely the easiest way to do that. So let's use this huge market potential because it's a typical small-medium enterprise, SME, having clients running in every day and being a solid business model that's working. So the whole process took 5 years. In the end, I didn't buy the company because we had some family issues going on. And it was now a super nice head start actually, an opportunity to start my own business from scratch, which I have now. It's called Business Ways. Look up whatever you want to have a look at. So I have several certifications in smart business modeling, and I've started my own podcast last year to empower other entrepreneurs on that way. So, question for you guys is now, wherever you are in your situation, how would you like to work and live? We know during that conference there are several ways, and it's super important to check in with your own biography and your real goal. And how I like to do that from a lot of client projects and also for myself is to build it together in 3 parts, and that's the foundation we are talking about. So during the whole time, feel free to check in with yourself what actually helps you for your further journey. The bottom is about your vision. So what do you want? That's a question we had before. And then you build it up on what do you think? What are your values? What are your belief systems? What system do you come from? What country do you come from? It all has an impact on how you think. And then on top, it's all about what do you do? It's about your strengths, your skills you have personally because of your very individual journey. So now I would like to share some quick exercises and to check in with you what really helps you right now. These are typical Nomad pictures, I guess, right? So talking about visions to have a freedom life and to be super flexible, we mostly know probably that these are not very realistic. I tried it. I've worked in the oasis of Egypt in the sand, also in a co-working, but it was not really like we see on the pictures. So it's super difficult to work with sand around. But actually, the picture on top, this girl being in a van, that's one goal I'm going to realize this year because I would like to visit some friends, to combine it with my business and just to be flexible. Never did that, so this is the vision I have right now. Talking about visions, there is a super nice method called Lego Serious Play. Everybody ever heard about it? Work with it? Please raise your hand. Quite a few people. Glad to see that. So this is a vision. I've built it a few years ago. It's a cruise ship. I'm in front of this cruise ship. And yeah, it's a very steady course. I know where I'm going. It takes a while, this ride. But for me, it's something that really inspires and motivates me because I can hold it in my hand. And this type of modeling, it's actually a principle behind it. It's called hand-brain principle. Why? Because you get directly to build something. It's all about building, as we know. And you reflect afterwards and think afterwards, what meaning does everything have for you? So this is why I really encourage this method. It's very often used in business coaching, business consultancy. If you want to talk further about it, feel free to do that afterwards. And now we head into your motivation, your big why. So something we all share, I guess, is this freedom we want to build for ourselves. And freedom can be one of your core values. And that's what we are heading into now. So feel free to take a picture of this one. It's more about reflecting and checking in, okay, what's actually very important for you? What are your core values? So you can use it also for your decision-making process. Doesn't matter if it's personal or if it's in the business sense. So I hope you took that picture because we continue. And you see the freedom is here. These are my 5 core values. And besides freedom, for me, it's super important since the beginning to be independent. I think you've heard it like this story from being in Malaysia. And independency is not just for me about the location. It's also to be financially independent, having my own income streams through my businesses. And this is a correlation with wealth. So I don't see wealth mainly connected or disconnected with financial numbers. For me, it's also to be wealthy in time. To take time for friends, to take time to be with family, to take time to do whatever you want to learn, which is not just about business the whole day. So what I recommend always is to have core max 5 main values that you can regularly check in with and to see how you can use it for your own business and for your personal decisions. This is a method from Profile Dynamics I've seen during a business event last year. So it's like you have some questions, and these 7 colors represent different value sets. And the one on the left side are actually the typical values founders and business owners, CEOs have. So this one, you can just look it up, or we talk afterwards about it. I did a certification because I find it super interesting to really have that strong foundation and to know about who you are. And also if you have a team, if you take over a business, if you build up a team, it's super good to know who has which kind of strength and is having a certain belief and value system. So, the 5 buckets. Who of you knows about Stephen Bartlett? Have read the book or heard his podcast? Okay, quite a few people. Can recommend it to everybody of you. So, I'm a fan reading his book now, I don't know how many times, again and again, to just catch up with all the concepts. And this is one of my favorites. So, now we head into your strength. And it's all about to fill your own buckets. And the first 2 ones are the most important buckets because it's about what kind of knowledge do you have based on your personal journey. So I shared some personal experiences. So I had this takeover process, which failed in the first place, but I gained that kind of market insight, and I learned a lot about how these typical SME companies in Germany are working. Now I work with a lot of clients for entrepreneurship, for their own way. So this is, again, something that builds up my knowledge that I transfer into skills now to be able to share it with you guys. So these 2 buckets, nobody can take away from you. Even though there's a market crisis, AI is taking over everything, you can stick at least to your knowledge and to your skills. So I encourage you to always check if you can invest in these first 2 buckets and how you can invest here. And then the resources follow. You see, like number 4, resources, it's like also correlated with the money, with the cash. That follows because your first buckets are strong. And again, talking about strength here, I can encourage you to check the Gallup Strength Finder. Maybe you've heard about it. Sometimes businesses pay for it. I did it like 4 years ago, and it's still super valuable because you get your top strengths, and you know what you are very good at, and then you can integrate it into your own journey. Or you just ask others about their opinion. So what do they see? What kind of strength do they see? That's a very easy peasy exercise you can do if you are sometimes struggling with what are you very good at. Now imagine like this is a map of your life. We all have ups and downs, and one of a big down I had was like closing one of my first companies. It was a racket court sports company for pedal construction courts like 5 years ago. And it was all during this takeover process. So when I knew, okay, this company, I don't continue with it, it was clear I don't want to compete with this whole very complicated, fucked up family situation and stay in this court industry. So I went to the notary and I said, okay, I need to close now. And he was asking, okay, so you know like what to do next, right? And I was so angry because for sure I never had closed a company before. I didn't know how to do that. And that was the moment I lost a few $1,000, like more than 10K for the whole thingy of closing it and the whole process behind it. But what I've learned is now the strengths and the resource I can share. So I know about this process, and it really made me more resilient to not be frightened about saying something is not working and it's okay to leave it behind. So that was a low moment for me professionally. One of the highlights I had like last year, I've just shared it, is to start my own podcast about business ways. I took it as a goal for the quarter while I've stayed in Bansko, Bulgaria. Maybe you've been there, maybe not. Highly recommended for focus work. So during 2 months, I was able to bring this podcast out to launch it, and that was a very empowering moment, knowing about, okay, how is this process, how to do that, to have help around, people supporting. So this is more like a highlight for me if I look back. And I would like to encourage you to do this little exercise. It's called Lifeline. It's a business coaching exercise where you can check in with your own life journey, professionally in this case. What kind of highlight did you have? What kind of lowlight did you have? And it's always about asking yourself, what kind of strength did you get out of it? So we want to strengthen strengths here. It's not about looking at weaknesses. Okay, so while being a nomad, I obviously always travel just light with a backpack. but these two things are always coming with me. So this postcard is actually from my bachelor studies, and it's a very nice reminder about getting out of your own comfort zone. Being in Chiang Mai, for me, it's super comfy actually, because you have everything you need. Maybe that's why we are all here, right? Easy access to very good food, easy access to a lot of sports. Now, paddle is one of my favorites if you want to play. Then you have co-workings, you have nice people, you have this kind of events. So it's super comfy. Being here on stage right now is more in my growth zone, actually, because it's nothing I do regularly. It's the biggest stage I had so far. So this is something now I'm increasing my comfort zone to build more positive beliefs. And I encourage you to always check in which zone you are staying in, because if you go out of that growth zone into the panic zone, it's more about being super stressed, not being able to take good decisions anymore, and it's also about fight or flight mood. So I had it last year, traveling a lot, moving a lot around, and not really being able to have all the business goals aligned with it. So that was quite exhausting, and this is an easy peasy check-in. It's called the 3-zone model to see where you are standing currently. Let's head into the 5 business models. So we had this first introduction, and butter and bread business, it's like from the German translation I really like, it's more like a freelancing job. So this is more like trading time against money, which is totally fine. So I have so many people coming to me, never had a business before, and they just want to fulfill their passion. Maybe you know that one, which is nice, yeah? I really love to talk about passionate businesses, but in the beginning, it's more about paying your bills, actually, and it's okay to do something you maybe are not 100% passionate about, but to first get into that journey of being employed and then having your own thing, because it's a super different kind of way. So your business is always the mirror. Then solopreneurship, it's actually one of my favorites, and it's a very strategic decision because it depends, again, on your own journey, right? So for me, it means that you are solo, obviously. You don't have a fixed team, and this is correlated with cash flow. So for me, it's much easier to manage cash flow if I don't have fixed employees. So that's the way I'm choosing right now as well. You normally have products, services that are not totally dependent on your one-to-one time. And this is a model you can also choose for you. Talking about startups, everybody has a different picture. In Germany now, it's everything about, wow, we had last year so many new startups, which is crazy. But then startup actually, for me, means that you have a very big business idea where you need definitely a team, a lot of resources, a lot of money. So you get investors in, right? VCs very often. Means that you will give shares as a trade. And that doesn't work for me, for example, because independency is so important, as you know now, from my set of values. So that was never an option for me, but can be one for you definitely. SMEs are mainly these boring businesses running mostly decades now, like the tennis court construction company I was talking about, having a super nice cash flow, and a lot of baby boomers are now going out of their businesses, and we have a huge problem, especially in Germany, to find people who want to take over. So ETA, it's entrepreneurship through acquisition. If you ever thought about starting a business, not from scratch, but by actually buying an existing business model, this is a very good time. So I'm from the German market. You can check Cody Sanchez. She's super famous in the US. Japan market is similar. I don't know where you are from, guys, but I suppose like a lot of markets are very similar right now, because these are some very current numbers from Germany. It's one research report from a bank. So most business owners right now of these SMEs, which are 99% of the German economy, are 55 years or older. And they normally don't have any plan what to do next. So these businesses are running. They are mostly not digital at all. Imagine they are not on social media, and they have a lot of clients. So it can work. But it's a very different approach to think about business, And that's why I just want to share with you about this opportunity that it can be a thing to actually buy one. So I'm also searching as a growth strategy to grow my own business, to buy one SME that fits with my own values and my own criteria, so that I can do it online, but that I build up on a system that is already working I don't know how many decades. How to business model. So I just have here like 3 very simple methods to share with you. Maybe you are mostly familiar with it. So the business model canvas is actually in every business administration course, and highly recommended to get a very quick overview about all the business areas you have. So you can just check out a template online. There are a lot of templates depending on the business model. You find digital ones or more traditional business ones. And it's to get an overview, what kind of area do you have? So talking about my own business, for sure, what is marketing about? Where do the customers come from? Where do I get the money from? So this is all covered within these boxes. So it looks the same as on this little icon. A business plan is a bigger version of the business model canvas, I would say. And you mostly need a business plan if you want to have funding, if you want to get a loan from a bank, if you want to get investors in. So who of you wrote a business plan already in their life? Anybody? Hands up? Okay. Nice one. Okay, a few people. That's cool. So even though you don't need a business plan for any external party, I always encourage you to write one, especially to look in the financials, because it's so important, not just in the beginning, all the time, to be clear about what do you need privately, what are your costs of living, where do you want to develop in, like what do you want in the future, and also what are your business costs. And you can really do that with a business plan. Next, the product letter. It's a picture from a workshop I gave last year on a side event here in Chiang Mai. And it's one of my favorites because it's super easy to do a nice business modeling virtually using Miro or just with Post-its. So you have these 6 steps. You put your products, your services on one side, so the ones you are going to earn with. And then you have marketing on the other side. So where do your customers come from? And you just bring it together. So that's my strategy tool that I always work with customers with as well, to check in what are the goals for the next quarter. So if you don't know it, please check it out. You can also chat with me afterwards about it. And this is one I really wanted to share with you today. So talking about business modeling, it's all about building MVPs, minimum viable products. This year, a client was asking me, she is now working on a leadership app. She has her MVP almost done, and she was like, Stella, so what do I do next? I feel a bit insecure sharing this app now with others. Like, what could they think? And then what is if they steal like this idea from me? So we were figuring out what her buckets are. Maybe you remember the 3rd is about your network. And we've checked who's in her network, like direct contacts, where she can share now her MVP app with to get and receive feedback. And the real feedback you always want if you start and develop your business is in terms of money. So it doesn't really help you if you have a thumbs up or people saying, oh, that's a super cool idea. It's all about earning. So if you don't get the feedback, which is money related, maybe it's something you should stop to do. Okay, so these are the 9 key learnings. It's something we've been through now, so I don't go through everything, but the last one is super important for me, especially now coming more with the German background, because in the beginning, motivation is super important to have your clear why. We've talked about it here. But in the end, what really matters, it's consistency. To have a structure, to have a plan, and to stick to it. Because if you choose a business model and every few weeks you do something different, sorry, but it won't work. If you really want to be successful on your business journey, what I really want to give you today is to be consistent. And when you go back tonight to your accommodation, thinking about where to go next, like next destination as a nomad, I would like to invite you to think more in terms of where could I go next on my business journey, professionally. So what can I implement now to make my own vision real. Enjoy that journey. Feel free to contact me. Here are my contact details, and I'm happy to talk to you later on personally. Thank you a lot.